gas, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, electric, and if you live in California, hydrogen. Hyundai has all of these powertrains available if you want a compact two-row SUV. This one, the Tucson, this is the plug-in hybrid. It's got 3 total powertrains across the whole Tucson lineup in 10 trims. So what you see right here, 33 miles of estimated all-electric range. It's more efficient than a lot of luxury competitors, and it actually drives pretty sporty. Let's go. Thinking about buying? Well, think about selling your car with CarGurus. Type in a few details, get an offer from dealers nationwide. If you like it, they pick it up and they pay you. Hyundai used to struggle with SUVs. It didn't sell many of them, and what SUVs it had were mediocre at best. That was what, 5 years ago? Now, Hyundai sells 8, including a pickup truck and a hydrogen fuel cell EV, and they all look totally different. This one is the outright wackiest. You may not realize it, but it's actually really difficult to form all these creases and lines and edges on the side of a door stamping. You simply couldn't do it at this price point 15 years ago. Now you can. And I don't think I really want to see it 15 years from now. It's not really the best shape to my eyes, but it is very distinctive, especially in the front. That grille has hidden LED daytime running lamps. Love how that looks. And in the back, you get these kind of toothy looking type of taillights with this stardust effect. I absolutely love that. Plus these saw blade wheels. That's what they look like to me. They're 19 inches and they are standard on the plug-in hybrid. And how do you tell apart this plug-in hybrid from all the regular Tucsons? Well, you don't, unless you see the fuel filler door on the other side, which is actually the charge port. That is it. 32 cubic feet behind the rear seats, 66 when folded. That's a lot, but it's not as much as a regular Tucson or the Tucson hybrid. There's also less gas in the tank, 3 fewer gallons versus the regular Tucson, so that means even with a fully charged battery, you're not going as far. What I like about Hyundai is that each car has its own personality, no matter all the parts that they share. This is not a one-size-fits-all design. The theme in the Tucson is flush and smooth surfacing. The air vents and the door trim wrap in one continuous band. The gear shifter is flat on the console. There are no buttons on the dash. Even the instrument panel blends into it without a covering. It's like everything is a single piece. It looks good, but using it, not so good. All these touch-sensitive buttons, there's no physical controls, and they're set against this highly reflective black plastic. Looks nice when the car is off, but try to use it when you're driving, everything reflects on it, so I can't tell setup from seek. That's not good. But the seats are comfortable and very supportive. And after you get used to the whole dashboard, everything is clearly marked and easy to find. Compared to other Tucsons, the plug-in has 2 inches less headroom. I can't really notice it. 5'11", I'm very comfortable here. And otherwise it's very airy, nice panoramic moonroof. This reclines really far actually, and there's 2-stage heated seats on the Limited. An 8-inch touchscreen is standard on the SEL. This one is the Limited, so it has the 10.25 inch, and that lets you do things like this, going into the radio and having a separate section of the screen for the battery, the nav, the compass, the time. This makes it a lot easier to adjust things on the fly without having to go back and forth between menus. And when you want to see the battery status, you go into the PHEV menu, you can see the EV range, the energy flow, and if you want to say, charge the car at specific times, but I could not find a way to precondition the climate control at the same type of time, so not as useful as other plug-in hybrids. Some unique features on the Tucson: highway driving assist. This is a really good semi-automated system, and it works very, very well. Comes standard in the Limited. You also get blind spot cameras on the instrument panel. Remote parking with the key fob, for no good reason. And if you have an Android phone, a digital key. Plug-in hybrids always have a lot going on underneath them, so I'll explain. The engine, the gas engine, 1.6 liter turbo 4, on its own makes 180 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. Now you add one electric motor. It is mounted in the front. So unlike the Toyota RAV4 Prime and some other plug-in hybrid SUVs out there, it's not running a separate electric motor on the rear axle. This one is attached to the 6-speed automatic transmission on those front wheels. All-wheel drive is standard on the Tucson plug-in hybrid, and it's mechanical, so it's actually always outputting all-wheel drive, no matter if that electric motor is on or off. Total You get 261 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty good. Right now, this whole time, I've been cruising in all-electric mode, and if the conditions are just perfect, Hyundai estimates 33 miles. Unfortunately, many times, the conditions are not perfect. So right now, the cabin is nice and warm. I've got it at 78 degrees, but it's only on the lowest fan setting, so it's barely doing anything. Before, when I actually had the heat running, the engine always has to run because there's no auxiliary heater in this car. That means that if you just want to drive around the store or whatever, do something local, even if you have a fully charged battery, it's running that engine the entire time. And that is the opposite of what a plug-in hybrid is supposed to deliver. So for cost savings, Hyundai has omitted having any sort of electric heater that would run without the engine's heater core. Because it doesn't have that, well, the engine is always spinning. So you don't, in the wintertime, get the fuel economy that you would expect. I think it's honestly better to have the regular Tucson hybrid if you're in a colder climate. If you're in a warmer climate, then a plug-in hybrid makes sense. What's unusual, and actually a good thing, about the Tucson plug-in hybrid is its standard 6-speed automatic transmission versus a continuously variable transmission that doesn't have any gears, that constantly varies the gear ratio inside that transmission. It's a stepless transmission. You don't get any of that rubber banding, high revving effect in this vehicle, and Hyundai touts it as a performance measure. It is actually a little more fun to drive, not that much more fun, but the reality is that it just feels more natural. So if you step into this vehicle versus, say, the regular Tucson with the 8-speed automatic and no hybrid assist, it drives very similarly, and it's just as smooth. And what's nice about it is that when you actually want to use the paddle shifters here, well, it's actually giving you a real gear. It says I'm in third gear. I'm actually in third gear, not the simulated gear that a CVT would have. So I do like that. The battery itself, much, much bigger than the regular hybrid. It's about 13.8 kilowatt hours versus 1.5. So that means that you get a lot more electric range. And even if you can't use all electric mode, it's able to provide that electric power for a lot longer before the engine really has to start recharging the battery. So let's talk fuel efficiency across all the fuels in this car. 80 mpge in just all electric mode, and combined using the whole hybrid system of gas and electric, it's 35. The EPA doesn't really rate these things as city and highway for plug-in hybrids. You'll see it on EVs. You don't see it on plug-in hybrids just because they're a lot more convoluted in how they work. It's a lot more things that are happening here. I can tell you that that 35 combined MPG rating, it's actually worse than the regular Tucson hybrid, which goes as high as 38. So this is really a question of your driving lifestyle. If you're able to plug it in, and if you're in a warmer climate where you're not running the heater constantly and at high fan speeds and high temperatures, the plug-in hybrid will work. It's probably the best choice. For a lot of people, though, the regular Tucson hybrid, I think, is gonna be the better value all around. Not only is it less expensive, it weighs less, so you don't necessarily need that extra electric assist, and you're getting really good efficiency in all types of weather. That's the one I really think that matters here. I'm less impressed by this plug-in hybrid because it just cannot work in EV mode like I thought it would. So whether you have the battery fully charged or half charged, it doesn't activate it like you think it should. There are some fun to drive parts about the Tucson. Namely, the ride. Ride's pretty controlled. 19-inch wheels and tires come standard. It's compliant. It doesn't roll that much. This is another example of Hyundai getting it right. After a long, long time of really messing it all up, Hyundai has gotten the suspension tunes right on so many of their cars. This is one of them. In sport mode, Hyundai tunes the all-wheel drive system to send more torque to the rear axle. That's always nice. Plus, it has braking torque vectoring in the front axle, but not in the traditional way. It actually uses the electric motor to regen. That's what's slowing the car down, slowing the wheels down on that front axle, and it's changing it on either side, left and right, depending on the steering, right? Depending on what turn you're coming into, it's gonna alter that torque left and right. That is nice. That's another nice feature that you typically just don't find on a lot of hybrids at all. But here, Hyundai actually cared to put some performance character into this SUV. This is not a performance plug-in, so if you get a Volvo XC60 T8, that thing's making a ton more power, but guess what? It's costing a ton more. This Tucson, as it's tuned, I'm saying a lot of T's there, aren't I? What I mean is, it's good. In this price category, $43K fully loaded, you're getting a vehicle that is efficient, but also is pretty fun to drive. I'm not saying it's gonna knock anybody's socks off, but the fact is the transmission tuning, the turbo engine, and all that torque from the motor, it combines pretty well. It's not always responsive every single time, but I would say 8 times out of 10 in sport mode, it is where I want it. And the steering feels good, the brakes feel good. I'm impressed by that. Some of the gas electric transitions are a little rough. That's because I'm in sport mode, pushing it a bit. The fact that I can push this car at all is a testament to how Hyundai has tuned it. So I thank them for actually baking in some fun to drive components here. That's kind of the point of driving a car, to a lot of us anyway. I'll tell you my quick philosophy about plug-in hybrids. I think they still matter. I really, really do. They're not just a transition between gas cars and full electric cars. For a lot of people, if this is going to be your only car, this makes a lot of sense. You can use that all-electric range when you're just around town. When you want to go further, well, guess what? I don't have to be sitting on the side of a road waiting for my car to recharge, waiting for a broken charging station, and all the other things that happen when you have a full EV that just get in your way. With this car, I can just keep going. And honestly, if you don't have a home charger and you buy this car, you can plug it into your wall outlet. 10 to 14 hours overnight. I mean, if you just don't get up to work early, you're basically getting a fully charged battery without having a level 2 station. If you use that, Hyundai estimates about 2 hours of the charge, so that's not bad either way. What's also great about this plug-in hybrid is that it doesn't feel like a plug-in hybrid when you stop. The pedal's not squishy, it's not quite as firm as I would really love, but that's why you get a Hyundai N. And this family SUV feels a lot better than a lot of other crossovers and hybrids. The Tucson Plug-in Hybrid starts at $35,400 for the SEL. There's only 2 trims. My limited was $44,690 with floor mats and destination. For 2022, I counted 20 plug-in hybrid SUVs on sale. Many are from luxury brands, so only a handful truly compete with the Tucson. Toyota RAV4 Prime, Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, Ford Escape PHEV, and 2 other SUVs from the Hyundai Group, the plug-in Santa Fe and the Kia Sorento. Among plug-in hybrid SUVs, that's a pretty good choice. The style, very, very distinctive, I'll definitely say that. Electric range is good, the overall performance, and even the technology, stuff you won't even find in luxury competitors. I still think the regular Tucson hybrid is going to be the better all-around choice because, well, it works better in cold weather than this plug-in does. But if your lifestyle can handle a vehicle like this, by all means, I think this is definitely one of the better choices in this segment. For more, go to CarGurus.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know where we are. We're here every week for you all year. We'll see you next time.